Hello and welcome back once again to product placement. So I know you've been seeing a lot of these lately, and that's because I've been finding some things I want to try. Actually, these things I'm going to try today, that's right, there's more than one, have been out for a while. I've just been waiting to find them in a smaller variety and a lesser price. But I finally said hell with it and bought them anyway. So today's items are another line of Pop-Tart, because that seems to be one of my go-to things here. And these, again, have been out for a little while, but every time I've seen them, they've been in these large variety boxes, or large value packs, I should say, not variety boxes. And I didn't want to buy the large one in case I don't like it. I haven't wasted a bunch of money on something that's just going to sit in the cupboard and not get eaten. And usually once I buy one of these in a large value pack, like the next day I find it in the smaller pack for half the price or a fraction of the price, because it's usually like buy one, get one free type of thing, or like half off or whatever. So anyway, these are the Jolly Rancher run of Pop-Tarts. And we have Jolly Rancher Cherry. We also have Jolly Rancher Green Apple and Jolly Rancher Watermelon. Now, originally when I saw these, I only saw these two. I didn't know the cherry one was even out, and I had planned on trying these. And then when I finally said, screw it, I'm going to buy them, I noticed the third box, and I was like, wait, there's 3 of them? So anyway, these large boxes of 16 ran me about $4 each, and then tomorrow I'll go find like the regular 4-pack or 8-pack or whatever it is that's like half this size, and it'll be like buy one, get one free for like $2.50 each or something. So I could have actually gotten like both of them for $5 plus like $2.50 for the third one. So probably about the price I paid for one of these, I could have gotten all 3. But I've searched and searched and searched and put this off for a couple months now, just trying to wait for them to go to the smaller packs and be on sale. And it's not happening. So yesterday I was at the store and I said, you know what, I want to grab some Pop-Tarts. I want something to snack on. These were still on the shelves. I said, screw it, we're going to try them. So which one shall we start with? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and open up all 3 of them. I'm going to take one out, because I'm going to do a cold and hot. So I'm going to put 3 of them aside and then take the other 3 and pop them in the toaster. So give me 1 minute to do that, and I shall return. Alright, and we're back. And I have both my heated and unheated Pop-Tarts, which, oddly, I've had people tell me that I'm weird for doing both of these. Like, some people say, oh my god, I can't believe you toast your Pop-Tarts. That's so weird. And I'm like, they're called toaster pastries. What part of that makes you think you're not supposed to toast them? Because, like, honestly, this is raw dough, basically, raw pastry dough. And when you toast them, it's supposed to brown up like that. And it's supposed to make it crispy like a crust. But then I've also had people tell me that I'm weird if I eat them cold, but the way it's made, they're perfectly safe to eat cold. You're not going to get sick off of it like you would eating like raw cookie dough or something now. Alright, so which one do I want to start with? I'm going to start with cherry, because it's the more common flavor. I don't know what makes these Jolly Rancher, unless like the frosting is melted Jolly Rancher, or it's probably got little Jolly Rancher chunks inside for like a little bit of a crunch or something. So of course we're going to go cold first. So here's the cold one. That's interesting. So I was like, well, it smells like a cherry Pop-Tart, but then it does smell like that Jolly Rancher candy, that hard candy. That's weird. Alright, gonna break a piece off, like so. I don't see any little chunky bits inside, so not sure. But let's give it a bite and see what we think. Cheers. Okay, again, that is weird. So I'm eating it, I'm like, okay, there's no little crispy bits in it or anything. It kind of just tastes like a cherry Pop-Tart. But then, at the end, that after flavor is like the same flavor you get on your tongue, like the coating on your tongue that you get when you suck on a Jolly Rancher. It has like that hard candy flavor. I really don't know how to explain that. That is so weird. I don't know how to explain what a hard candy smells and tastes like, but it's there. I don't know, I guess you'll have to try them if you like Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, overall, I like it. For the most part, it tastes like a cherry Pop-Tart, but then it gives you that after flavor. Kind of like the little bits of it, like you bite into them and then little bits get stuck in your teeth, and you just kind of like have that lingering flavor of them. That's almost what this tastes like, except it's a Pop-Tart. Alright, so that's the cold one. So let's try the hot one now. As you can see, the edges are toasted up beautifully there. And let's see if the heat changed the flavor at all. Breaking off a little piece. Now it smells like a warm Pop-Tart. Don't get any of the cherry scent at all. Let's see if it tastes better. Cheers. I don't get the same effect out of that. For the most part, that just tastes like a cherry Pop-Tart. I don't get the candy flavor that I did out of the other one. Is that what you're doing now, Pop-Tart? Because so many people don't toast these anymore. They just grab them and eat them raw. You're putting all the flavor and smell into when they're cold versus when they're heated like they're supposed to be. There's a little bit of the candy flavor there, but just in the fact that it's like a generic cherry flavor versus an actual cherry flavor. But you definitely get more of it when you eat them cold. It's still there, it's just not as present. So that was the cherry one. Now we're going to move on to the watermelon one, because again, watermelon's a more common flavor of Pop-Tart versus like a sour apple. So we're going to do watermelon next. You know the watermelon because it has the green with the red stripe versus the candy apple, which is all green. Or no, sour apple, which is all green. Alright, so watermelon, cold one. So it's not what I first think of when I think watermelon off the scent, but it is what I think of when I think of candied watermelon, like a Jolly Rancher watermelon flavored hard candy. It's a weird mixture of generic watermelon flavoring with whatever that candy flavor is that gives Jolly Ranchers their unique flavor. Alright, let's go ahead and break into it. The corner actually broke off a second ago, but I haven't tried this already. It's right here on the plate. Alright, let's take a bite, see what we think. Cheers. Okay, there it is. I was going to say I don't get as much of the candy after flavor on this one, but I do. You just have to wait a second for it. The overall flavor, again, isn't quite what I think of when I think of like biting into a piece of watermelon. It's more of that, again, generic, what people assess watermelon to taste like, but what it actually tastes like is, again, like I said with other watermelon things, when you bite down real close to the rind, like that white fleshy part between the green rind and the actual pink of the watermelon, it kind of tastes like you're biting into that part where there's still a little bit of the fleshy part, but you're getting down into the rind and you probably should stop before you go any further. And then at the end, I was kind of waiting for the aftertaste to kick in, and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting that candy aftertaste. And then like as soon as I thought that and started to speak, it was there. So it was almost like it waited for me to take a breath to start talking, and like the air oxygenated the flavor, and I was like, poof, here I am. Yeah, that one didn't linger as long as the cherry one did as far as like coating my mouth and stuff, but it's definitely there as an aftertaste. Yeah, overall not bad. Not quite what I think of when I think of watermelon flavored Pop-Tarts, but it is what I think of when I think of watermelon flavored Jolly Ranchers. But it definitely has that rindy flavor, like that white meaty part at the bottom. Now over to the hot version, which is here. As you can see, my nice toasted brown crust. Now that smells a little bit more like what I think of when I think watermelon, and doesn't have that candy scent at all. But then again, it is kind of masked by the toasted pastry of the Pop-Tart. Let's break off a chunk here. Alright, let's take a bite and see what we think of the hot version. Cheers. Okay, so just based off the watermelon version, if it wasn't Jolly Rancher, it was just watermelon Pop-Tarts, I get more of a watermelon flavor out of it being hot, but the cold version actually hits what they're going for with it, trying to taste like a Jolly Rancher. But one thing I will say is I get a lot more of that aftertaste coating of my mouth of the candy flavor out of the hot one than I did out of the cold one, but the cold one tastes and smells more like a Jolly Rancher, where this one has the aftertaste more than the other one did. So that one's like a weird balancing act. The cherry one definitely had better in one versus the other. In this one, each one's unique, but for my personal taste, I like this one better hot. But if you want the Jolly Rancher experience, again, go for the cold. So again, Pop-Tarts, what the hell? Are you intentionally trying to make people eat these cold now? Alright, so we're back with the last one of the three. This is sour apple. Smells like sour apple. Smells like a Jolly Rancher. Smells like a sour apple Jolly Rancher. Or any other sour apple flavored candy, like the Blow Pops or whatever. Not really a huge fan of sour apple. It's not. I don't hate the flavor. It's just Not like my go-to, like if there's a bag of blow pops or something, and I reach in and grab one, it's sour apple, I'll usually drop it back in and find another flavor, but when it gets down to where all I got left is sour apple, they will get eaten. Alright, so broke off a small piece. Let's take a bite and see what we think. Cheers. I don't get it. So I'm chewing it, and I'm like, yeah, tastes like sour apple, no big deal. And then at the end, right when I go to swallow it, this burst of after flavor of Jolly Rancher sits in the back of my mouth. Just like coats my tongue from the back up. So it tastes like sour apple, but has a unique candy aftertaste. If you like sour apple candies, you'll probably like it. I don't know what else to say about it. Alright, so now on to the final one. Final one this time. The toasted sour green apple. Let's give it the old smell test and see if it still smells like a Jolly Rancher. Not getting any smell out of it now. It just smells like pastry. Crack it open. Get us a little piece here. Let's bite into it. See if it still tastes like a green apple or sour apple Jolly Rancher. Cheers. Okay, that was weird. So I'm first chewing it up and I'm like, okay, there's basically no flavor here anymore. It kind of eliminates when you heat it, I guess. And then a big glob of the jelly hit right at the tip of my tongue. And it felt like I had a damn Jolly Rancher in my mouth. Like, that's how big the glob was. It was just kind of sitting there like I had a Jolly Rancher sitting in the center of my tongue. And it took me a second to move it off. And then as it kind of like coated around the inside of my mouth, I got all the rush of all those sour apple flavor back, plus the coating of the candiness all through my mouth. But then it quickly like faded away as soon as I started talking. So yeah, when it's heated, it's not very strong on the overall flavor. I mean, there's a slight hint of it there, but you get a big burst of the flavor at the end after it's kind of coated your mouth, and you get all that sensation of the sour apple and a little bit still of that candy coating of a Jolly Rancher. Personally, again, I think you get more out of the cold version, but hot isn't bad either. Again, it's kind of like similar with the watermelon. They each have their uniqueness to them. The only one that really suffered in the uniqueness on the hot version was the cherry, which, again, that better off cold. So, what would I rate these? Well, for the flavor, to go for the full Jolly Rancher experience, I definitely say the cold plate wins over the hot plate, but two of the three do have a uniqueness to them when they're hot. As far as which ones I like best, I'd probably say the cherry one is the one I like best because it's cherry, it's a basic flavor. Watermelon would probably be second because I like watermelon better than I like sour apple as far as an overall flavor goes. However, as far as flavor on the watermelon, I do recommend to be hot because the cold watermelon is a lot more of the rindier taste. And then sour apple, again, just because it's not one of my more favorite flavors, sits at the bottom, but as far as like tasting like sour apple, it's actually above watermelon in the cold version. So, yeah, I'd probably say cherry, watermelon, sour apple from top to bottom. Not really much else to say about them other than that. They're good. If you like Jolly Ranchers, check them out. So, yeah, that's about it for this one. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are down in the description. Click the bell up here in the corner somewhere. Make sure you're getting notifications every time I post new videos. And until next time, cheers.